to another SEC game that is also kind of playoff adjacent, expectations, what we thought teams were coming into the season versus what they are. You got a back against the wall team. You got a team that had a great game and a great win. Now we want to see if they can do it again. It is Auburn at Texas A&M. So Auburn is coming off this loss in Norman that they were in the game. They were winning the game in the fourth quarter. Then they give up a drive. Jackson Arnold gets sacked in the end zone. Might have been a little bit of a bad beat there, but
felt good.
Not that I'm bitter. Not that I'm bitter.
You gamble enough, you're on the right side and the wrong side of those quite a bit, Andy. And I just got to let you know that you never remember when you win on them. You never remember when you lose on them.
That's true. That's true. Now, Texas A&M, the last time we saw them against an opponent of note, they went to South Bend and won a game that the Aggies don't typically win. And it was a big deal. And we came away from that thinking that, oh my, this offense is really, really good. That Marcel Reed with Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion, the two receivers they got out of the portal, that this could be a really potent offense for the rest of the season. And I think we both said we think they're going to score in the 30s in a lot of their games. And I'm very curious to see what that looks like against what I think is a pretty good Auburn defense. Now, John Mateer didn't put up huge numbers, but was mobile enough to keep from getting sacked, which I think, probably saved Oklahoma in that game because his mobility versus Jackson Arnold, who is pretty athletic, but just could not get away from Oklahoma's defense. I think that was the biggest difference in the game. I am curious to see if Texas A&M can score like that on Auburn. I'm not sure if they can.
Yeah, and I love the in-depth football discussion we're having, but here's a more important pressing discussion that we need to have about this game. Can Texas A&M have anything?
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's the discussion here, man. Like we're talking about all these here's the thing. I'm looking back at the box score from Texas A&M's 41-40 win over Notre Dame. And Jeremiah Love carried the ball 23 times and did not score or did not reach 100 yards.
Right.
Which I think is a very good sign for A&M because the one thing that we know about Auburn is that they are going to rely on moving the football on the ground. And as you pointed out astutely on the show on Saturday night, the reason why they had a chance to beat Oklahoma was their unwillingness to shy away from that.
Yeah, they kept running the ball.
Coaching.
Yeah.
So my thing is if Notre Dame were to have shred Texas A&M more on the ground, I know they scored 40 points, but if they would have done more damage on the ground and been harder to stop on the ground, I would feel less confident in A&M's ability to cover the spread.
Because Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price is about as good a 1-2 punch as you're going to see in the country.
Right.
At tailback.
And, that Auburn runs the ball well, but they're not as good as a running team as Notre Dame.
Yeah. Now, here's the difference, though. Another key difference in the Auburn-Oklahoma game. If Jackson Arnold hits Cam Coleman on either of those deep shots where Cam Coleman was wide open that Arnold overthrew him, Auburn wins. So I would assume that they're going to keep doing that. And look, CJ Carr had success throwing the ball against Texas A&M. Cam Coleman is one of the toughest receivers in the country to cover. If Auburn sees him in single coverage, they are probably going deep. Yeah. And so you're going to get more opportunities like that. And if Jackson Arnold and him can get on the same page there, then this is a big problem for everybody. Download the Gametime app, redeem the code STAPLES, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, of course. There are some great seats in the $200 range, in the high $100 range. There are some really good views. And obviously, it's a beautiful view of Lake Washington. It's a beautiful place to go watch a game. Don't worry about Ari. Don't be scared of the active volcano. It'll be just fine. Ari's just trying to scare you. Go to that Washington-Ohio State game. Or if you want, go to Alabama-Georgia this week. That's going to cost you a little more. That's going to run you in the 400s, in the 500s, in the 600s if you want to get some really good seats at Sanford Stadium this weekend. But there are tickets to all of these great games on Gametime. Redeem the code STAPLES for $20 off your first purchase. And remember, the price you see is the price you pay. There are no tacked on fees there at the end. That number's the number. So You want to get a game? You want to go see a game in person? Do you want to brave the active volcano and watch the Buckeyes play the Huskies? Go to Gametime. Use that code Staples. $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
The thing that I can't get out of my head is when they beat LSU last year, A&M this is, 38-23, and what, LSU did not have an answer for
Marcel
Reed in that game. The following week, A&M went on the road to South Carolina and lost 44-20.
Yeah.
And it was such a range of emotion because they did lose to Notre Dame in week 1, but at that point, when they beat LSU, they improved to 7-1. And then you're starting to think, okay, well, maybe they will get out of the vortex of 8-4, and they finished 8-4, and then ultimately 8-5 when they lost to USC in the Vegas Bowl. Right now, I am on the apex, and I believe that I think, because I've got a cult Aggie wife, that A&M is breaking through under Mike Elko. I think Mike Elko was the perfect hire for them, and I just truly believe, and maybe this is just me looking like an idiot, that A&M is about to turn the corner as a program. And I don't know if that means that they're going to make the playoff this year or that they're not going to. I just don't think they're going to go 8-4. And I think on Saturday is the day at home where the old Aggies would have just tripped over themselves because they can't have anything nice. They're actually going to do it. I think I like taking the points here. I don't think that Auburn is going to win this football game.
I think that's fair. I think it's fair. I think it's going to be so close that either team can win it, which is why I'm going to take the points.
Okay.
That's why I'm going to take Auburn to cover this, because you're giving me almost a touchdown. I don't feel like these teams are really a touchdown apart either way.
Yeah, I'm going to take A&M actually, just because.
Oh, now you want to be different.
No, I don't. No.
Oh, this is currying favor with the bride?
Britt doesn't care. I don't think that's on the priority list for her, but she did watch the end of the Notre Dame game. She told me she was out with some friends, because the best thing about being my wife in football season is that if you want to go have girls' night or do things or go to dinner on Saturday nights, you have a built-in babysitter on the weekends that I'm home, because I can't go anywhere, and I can watch our daughter. And she went out with some friends for one of her girlfriend's birthday parties, and they were walking out of the bar when the final drive of the A&M Notre Dame game was happening.
Yep.
And she said she took a later Uber because she wanted to watch the end of the game.
Did she say whoop? Did she do any yell?
And I didn't know
stuff?
I didn't know that you had to have graduated from A&M for that not to be disrespectful. Just so you know that.
You're not allowed to whoop. I can't whoop.
I told her.
Can I gig them?
I don't know what you can do. All I know is you can't whoop. But she watched the game and she was like, "That was really exciting." I was like, "Yes, sweetheart, that was really exciting." Back to the game, though. I think that A&M is going to be up 5 with about a minute and a half left, and Auburn's
just don't take a safety. Don't do it again.
I think it's going to be a close game, Andy. I have a really hard time with this because the number and the power ratings are dead on. I'm going to take A&M, and this is the official turn the page on the program moment. I wonder if last week's game against Notre Dame is the line of demarcation of when the old A&M dies and the new A&M is born.
We shall find out, but I got to tell you this.
And I'm sorry to all my A&M friends who are just punching their steering wheel listening to this.
When number 8 is single covered, they're going deep.
Yeah, throw them the ball.
If Jackson can hit him, it's going to be a problem.